Well, it's easier to talk to you than through the door hole. Today I'm going to show you how to install your HKS EVC 3 or 4 boost controller. I'm not actually sure which one this one is. I found documentation where this is the 4. I've also seen documentation where this is the 3. I have no freaking idea. So you look at it. If yours looks like this, then this is what I'm going to show you. I'll also attach a link to the PDF for the instruction for this thing if you want to go even further than what I cover. This nice cavern here with nothing in it. I'm pretty sure water does not splash in here. If I go up high over there, see? That might work. You think? The nice thing about this corner spot right here is that it also brings me really close to my actuator and stuff. So I think this is where all the hoses will end up going towards my turbocharger. And it has to be mounted vertically, so the 3 hoses go up, and then the port down here is the bottom. So your plug's like this. I decided to mount it here. It seems to be okay here. The instructions say to mount this thing away from high temperature areas such as near the exhaust manifold. It also says it should not be mounted somewhere that's wet or moist. I guess this is outside. Anywhere could be wet or moist, but I'm just looking at where the car is, and I was looking at how the stuff was back here. It gets dirty, but I don't really think it gets wet back here. It's not really in a splash zone. And then like the rear wheel is over here, but it's way behind all this other stuff, so it should be all right. And the last thing was keep the hoses as short as possible, no longer than 3 foot and 4 inches, I believe. So that's 100 centimeters. So it works out right here because this goes out, and then you bend it, and it goes right to the turbocharger right there, and the whole actuator or whatnot. This should relatively keep the hose length down just because it's out here. I actually thought about it because it was 3 foot and 4 inches. Theoretically, this could have been mounted inside, so it's away from heat, it's away from moisture, but I've already done this, so it is what it is. However, I guess it's not all lost because this run right here, where it goes like that and into my actuator, is actually 32 inches. So 3 foot 4, so 40 inches. So I was already 8 inches away. Theoretically, it might have worked, but I think this right here would be 8 inches. So if I put it inside and routed it that way, although I could have routed it differently. I don't know, whatever, this is what it is. I'm going with this for now. So our car has an internal wastegate, and it is actuated by this thing that's right here. It looks like a little circular canister of some sort. You would see, I've already removed it, but there was a hose that connected it from here to that nipple right there. So to install this, you had to remove this, so this way the controller would control the wastegate and not the car itself anymore. There's my stepper motor. It has the 6 mil hose, 6 mil hose, and the 4 mil hose. 2 of them have a filter. The 6 mil one with the filter goes over here, straight into the turbo there. That's where it reads the boost pressure. And then the second one, it goes into the actuator, and that's what activates it to dump the wastegate. You can see the wastegate little rod that goes over there and just pulls on that. And then the third hose is the 4 millimeter hose. Goes up, it goes all the way up to the plenum area over there, and I tapped it into the plenum. I put a new connection of hose here. I put the double splitter on here, so it's like a double T, whatever you want to call this thing. 4-way, I guess, 1, 2, 3, 4. Both of these lines go towards the ECU area where I mounted everything. The one goes to the boost gauge, the other one goes to the boost controller. This seems to be cleaner and is probably more reliable because there's less connections for it to fail. I think I have some more slack to pull this wire in a little bit more because there's plenty of space here. And then I think I'm basically done down here. Back inside here, you can see my controller. This is the main unit. I have 2 wires I need to hook up. This is supposed to go to a switched ignition source, and this is supposed to go to ground. So this wire originally had to my gauged pods, and they were too bright just to be at max power. I ended up not needing this because I got this little adjuster doohickey. I'm gonna put this power source right into here. This is a cool little connector. My friend showed me some of these. I'm gonna try them out. They seem to work pretty well. It's like a quick release, quick attach thing. I kind of prefer this over crimping stuff onto things. Maybe this isn't the best way to do it, but I'm gonna try it out. For example, I'm gonna put this into here so we can take a look at how it works. the wire goes into the hole. You could fit a bunch of wires in here or a bigger gauge wire, but this goes right in. You snap that door shut. It's now holding on to that wire, and this isn't coming out. Like, this is very strong. You can see my fingers turning white pulling on this. So that's not gonna go anywhere. It's actually pretty convenient for doing this, because now I can put this in here. This white wire is tapping the red with the yellow stripe. That is, no, sorry. This white wire is tapping my, oh wait, actually this might be a problem. Whoops, it wasn't the white wire that I needed. The white wire is no longer required at this time. It's switched power for when my lights are on, either the parking lights or the headlights. This is actually the one I'm looking for. This is tapped off the blue wire off the ignition, so that is a switched ignition wire for 12 volts when the key is on. I'm gonna slip this in here, and that's nice and tight. It's not coming out. I also need to ground this. Maybe I should just cut this whole black wire because it really doesn't need to be this long. I didn't end up cutting some of these other wires just because I didn't want to. I also have one of these wiring blocks for ground, so I'm gonna use it in here, and there it is connected. Let's see, does this actually power up? I don't really know how this thing works. Oh, look at that. It works. Okay. It's in kilograms per centimeter squared. I don't really know what that means. I will have to figure this out. So for now, I'm just gonna turn it down all the way. Now I can also see where I wanna mount this thing. Cool. It's very likely that you have bought this unit used. This thing is ancient. Since it's used, you're probably gonna have to reset this before you use it. So how you reset it is there's these 4 buttons. You press and hold all 3 of these in this particular order, and it'll beep and turn on. If it doesn't beep, it means it's already been reset or it doesn't have any presets. If it beeps and turns on, it means it just reset. I just cleared all my presets and it's starting over factory fresh. The first number is set low. It wants you to set the stock boost pressure. It was already on 8, but I'm going to show you this flashing H and what it means. It wants you to calibrate the knob. Oh, I guess it calibrated itself. But it wants you to calibrate the knob by turning it all the way high for H and all the way L and all the way down for low. Stock, my car I believe is 0.8, so that's what I'm going to set. I'm going to press SBC on the right to set this setting. It is now asking me set high, and that's what I want my boost pressure to be. So that's going to be 1.1. That's where I want to be anyways. I'm going to press SBC again. There are other features on this thing, like warning mode, where if you hit a certain boost point and it didn't pull back for some reason, it would just force it to cut. It's kind of like boost cut on your stock ECU, and it would just drop you back to stock boost until you let off the throttle. There's other things like scramble, where it'll let you over boost a little bit, so you get a little bit of power for X amount of seconds. There's also an offset mode, like if your actuator is a little bit worn and it's not pulling fast enough, or it's too tight and it's not pulling in time, and you can use the offset so the computer knows, oh, I'll just pull early, or I'll wait a little bit and whatnot. But my car seems to be fine, so I'm not going to go over those things. I've driven on it and it seemed to be fine. It might be a little bit slow. I might want to look into that later, but for now I'm okay with this. So it's pretty simple to set up. This will now show your vacuum when you're driving around, or the boost, but right now my car is off, so all you see is 0. Same with my boost gauge, 0. And that's just how it is. Take a look at what I got. I have a Monstersport N1 computer for a Cappuccino, but as you know, I don't have a Cappuccino, at least not anymore. The cool thing is you can use these in the Suzuki AltoWorks, the Suzuki Cara, and the AutoZam AZ-1. That's what makes these a little bit more in demand than the other engine computers, just because they're swappable. How it works is there's a few pins that are different. I can show you from a prior video what I had to swap here. After you swap the pins, this plugs right in. Instead of messing with my harness and rewiring and repinning stuff, what I did was I got one of these harness extension things, and I did the pin swapping on here. So this way, when this is plugged in, like this, let me take this out. All right. So this way, when this guy plugs into here and here, you can see how the wires will cross here or be disconnected. The wires will cross and connect to whatever pin is appropriate. I'm gonna take my unit out. You'll also find that the mounting points are different. This won't just bolt right in. You can either switch the bottom out and switch the computer over so you can mount it back in, or you can just wedge this in here. What I chose to do on my K-Sport one is I bought like an old cheap ECU from a Cappuccino. What I did was just drilled these spot welds out and the whole tabs fell off, so this one was just gonna cleanly go in. Maybe I could re-weld the mounting points on there. I don't know. One day. For now, this is what I got. So plug this in and plug this in. And this should kind of fit in here. Oh, actually, it doesn't fit in here. I don't want to bend the tabs because I don't want to ruin this thing. I'm going to swap this out. Here we are with the housing swapped. I won't have any mounting points in this case, but at least I can fit it in here and not bend the tabs on the original housing. I can now plug this in, boop, and boop. Let's start it up and test it, I guess. I don't know. How else am I supposed to test stuff like this? Start. Seems to be all right. Alright, I gotta put my seat back in before I can test drive this. Oh yeah, I also gotta put this stuff back in. Oh no, my light's running out of battery. Alright. Ooh, it smells like fumes in here before I kill myself. I gotta go outside, open the door or something. Obviously with the harness it doesn't fit so well, so you're gonna have to be a little bit creative with how you mount this back in here. I think I can get away with that. Looks good to me. ECU is now locked up. Oh man, the car is so different with an N1 computer and the boost turned up to 1.1 bar. So what's that? It's like 0.3 bar more than stock or something like that. I believe stock is 0.8, but the car is just so different. It's so alive. Like, whoa! I can't wait to find out how much power this is actually making with the Monstersport ECU and just the boost controller. This is just tons of fun. I mean, it was tons of fun before, don't get me wrong, but now upping the power, however much it's gone up, this is like perfect now. Of course, I want a little bit more. I don't even, well, look, I don't even know what I have yet, and I already want a little bit more. Oh man. There's a small issue though. Now, before you used to be able to like run through all the way up to 9,000 RPM without breaking the law, but not so much anymore. You know, when speed limits were like 45, 55 here and there on these back roads or whatnot, you can like bring it out in like first and second gear and it wouldn't be so much of a problem. You wouldn't be speeding. But now it's like, okay, you're probably going like 60 and the speed limit's still 45. It's a little bit questionable, so you gotta take it easy after you get some more power, unless you're somehow hidden to the cops. But otherwise, you know, take it easy. mod so far. Well, I guess it was a combination of mods, but I think all of this is my favorite mod so far. Aside from my interior being back together, this is huge. Like, that's just... the car is way more enjoyable with the interior back together because it doesn't just look like it's unfinished. And coupled with this extra power, oh man. And oh man, oh man. Woo! I also noticed the turbo noises are a lot louder than they used to be. So I did a Dynamat sound test. It's not really like perfect because I did it in slightly different conditions. I mean, I ran the RPMs or whatnot. I don't think it made it any better. Oh, I'm getting pulled over. Hello, officer. Would you like me to open the door?
I don't even know how that... Yeah, sure, whatever you gotta do, I don't know.
Well, it's easier to talk to you than through the door hole. Hello. How's your day going?
I feel like I'm in like a dream or a video game right now.